Hello, everyone. This is Kastner-lang, host of Dharma Unfiltered, coming in from the University of Miami. We got a special guest on the podcast today, Tim Seramur. I briefly met Tim last semester. This was like one of the first weekends of the school year. Actually, he goes to the U as well, and told me he's from Wisconsin. We didn't really connect after that. After last semester, but we connected when we were both back home in southeastern Wisconsin over break, and um, I went to the gym with him one day. We got a good pump in, and we just started talking entrepreneurship, and we just kind of clicked. And we've had some pretty good long conversations, here and there, both at home and also, whether it be in the dining hall or just in passing here at the university. So Tim, if you just kind of want to introduce yourself, where you're from, what you do, what you've done in the past, and we can jump right into it.
Thank you for having me, Reed. So my name is Tim Seramur. I'm from Hartford, Wisconsin. I'm an electrical engineering major, sophomore, transfer student at the University of Miami here. Um, so yeah,
Yeah. So tell people about kind of your transition from high school to college, and let's start with uh, kind of what it's like growing up in Wisconsin and being like a small town kid and just going into like this like what we're doing right now.
yeah, for sure. So I actually had it's a little bit different for me since I'm a transfer student. So I already had a year of college underneath my belt. But going from transitioning from Wisconsin to Florida was a huge transition as far as the multitude of cultures that are in Miami, especially, um, and just the weather, the weather,
Well, I know.
yeah. But yeah, Miami is and so I previously went to the University of Wisconsin Oshkosh, which has like 60,000 people who occupied the city, and Miami's like what is it, like half a million, quarter of a million, something like
That's
that.
a lot.
Yeah, but Miami is like one of the biggest cities in the United States. So going from a small or not like a small city, the University of Wisconsin Oshkosh, but going from that to the to Miami, definitely a big change.
Yeah, and big change in not only like the scenery and what you see, but also like you said, just the culture and like the people, because Wisconsin is very, how do you
Right.
say it, like homogenous, like it's very like
Yeah.
everyone is white, Catholic, and conservative. The vast majority, and then like literally my roommate was the first Jewish person I ever met. I'd never met a Jewish person. Because it's like there's like no Jewish people. I mean, maybe I just didn't know, but I guess
Yeah.
I had never really met a Jewish person.
No, yeah, same. I've never really met any Jewish. The only Jewish people I've really seen, I remember being a kid in Wisconsin. We went to like Sunburst, which is like we went tubing for like a school field trip, and I saw some like Jewish people, like some like very strict Jewish people. So they were in um, they just dressed differently, So,
Yeah,
um, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
yeah, yeah. So that was eye opening for me. And for me, it was interesting because it was like it kind of helped me formulate or figure out who I was, coming down here, because it's like back home we're very similar to everyone around us. You know what I mean? Like everyone at the lunch table looks looks relatively the same. So
For sure.
and growing up and being told that we're in this bubble and it's true, but at the same time, it's like you come down here, and I feel, I feel like I have more of an identity now, being in a more like diverse environment, because I'm not just like another like white Catholic. I'm technically Catholic, but you know what I mean? Like I'm not just another German, Irish kid like everyone else. You know, the most people on my floor here are Jewish from the East Coast. So
Yeah, a lot of East Coast kids.
yeah, a lot of money, a lot of East Coast, a lot of Jewish I found.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's been, for me, it was like a necessary change. Like in high school and stuff and growing up, did you feel like did you always know that you wanted to go to like a big, like, or a bigger like city?
No, so actually, my dream was always to play college football and to go to the NFL. I grew up playing football. I played 4 years of high school football. Ran track for football. Worked out like during the basketball season. I played 1 year of basketball, but then I stopped playing basketball to work out for football. So my dream was always to play football, and it still is. I still have hopes and dreams of walking on here at the University of Miami. So I'm still putting in the work every day in the weight room and everything, and on the field. But yeah, it was definitely like a necessary change because for me, I was playing D3 football at the University of Wisconsin Oshkosh. So when I made the decision that I wanted to go to the University of Miami, it was like I wanted to go out of state. I wanted to, definitely I needed a change from something we both grew up with for the majority of our lives, just not a lot of diversity and just a new environment.
Right. And you were saying, was U Miami like your dream school or something? Like, I thought you had said that when we were at the gym or.
Originally no, but as I researched it more and as I really looked into the school, so my dad grew up in Florida for a little while. His parents divorced, and he went to high school in Florida for a number of years, and he would tell me about the Hurricanes and how they were so dominant. They're such a dominant football team in the early 2000s, being national champions consecutive times. And I looked up to that, and so I always idolized the school in a way from football. But as COVID hit, I realized that I wanted to change and I wanted to go out of state, and so I was researching out of state schools, and Florida was one of the states. I wanted to go down south, so I researched schools in Arizona, Florida, other schools in like North Carolina.
Right?
Yeah, right. Warmer areas.
Yeah.
Yeah, Oshkosh is even more north of Hartford, Wisconsin. So, yeah, I remember walking to class one day. It was like 0 degrees with like a negative 20 some wind chill, and my face was just so red and numb. And I was just like, I don't know. I needed a change at that point.
I know. It's almost like, and then you come down here and it's like, my business partner said this, and so Evan, I quote you on this, but you said, people just seem happier down here.
Yeah, I could. The weather definitely probably plays a big is a big factor to that. Yeah, because in Wisconsin, it'll just be overcast and then very like gray and just gloomy outside, for like a couple months, in the winter. So
not only that, but it's just fucking freezing, and you're just like, I mean, just being down here, like right now, or like being down here in like February when it's like freezing cold in Wisconsin, it definitely, like, there's no seasons here really. I mean, it gets a little bit colder. It's not, I cannot complain about it being cold down here when it's like 60 or 65. Like, that's great.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, no, with Wisconsin, when it's like, and I definitely felt that, especially like senior year of high school. Like, I was so done with that. Like, it was just, it seems like it's never gonna end. And when it gets dark, like, so you go to school until 2:30 high school, and then the sun sets by like 4 or like 4:30.
Yeah, and then the day's like over.
It seems like it's over, and it's like
Yep.
you have no like motivation to like want to leave the house or anything.
Yeah, you're just like, when do the days start getting longer?
I know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was definitely for me too. Like that, just the weather was definitely a big factor. How was playing football at Oshkosh? Just, like, do you have any cool experiences from cool stories or anything from that?
Um, I can't think of any particular stories, but I have a lot of memories that I created with like fellow teammates and other like fellow players and whatnot. I definitely still keep in touch with a lot of friends. I have a couple very close friends I still keep in touch with. I actually was just FaceTiming one the other day asking for help about chemistry because he's very smart at chemistry. But yeah, I definitely met like a ton of cool people and like made a lot of great memories at the University of Wisconsin Oshkosh.
Yeah, and just out of curiosity, are you still friends with anyone from high school?
Yeah, most definitely, yeah.
Okay.
I don't keep in touch with a lot of people from high school as much, you know. Going to college, it's a lot of kids either go to different schools or they're already working, you know,
Right.
40 plus hour weeks.
Yeah. Did a lot of your friends from high school end up going to college?
Yeah, I would say probably majority went to college.
Yeah.
Not a lot of big schools though, more like D3 schools in Wisconsin. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because like my sister is a freshman in grad school, so she's 4 years older than me, and she doesn't keep in touch with like any of her friends from high school, and I'm like, that is just not what I want to be. Like, that's just not what I want to happen. Like that, like I
Yeah.
when I like uh came down here for the first time and ever, like leaving home, like for the first time for like an extended period of time, like in
Yeah.
last August, I told myself and my friends, like my 5 closest friends too, I said it's not gonna be as easy to like keep in touch, but like, I mean, if we want to still be friends, like we just like have to like make an effort to do so. uh,
Right. For sure.
and it's almost distance makes the heart grow fonder is something that Jalen Sanders said on a podcast. But I said that resonates. It's like sometimes having a little bit of distance can I've found can strengthen the relationship, because then when you're home, it's like it's an occasion. Like you got to make the best of it. Like it's only gonna last for so long.
Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely agree.
Tell me a little bit about just Seramur Strong and your motives behind it, and what you're doing with it right now, and then what you want to do with it.
Okay, so I created a fitness brand slash community back in December. I started an Instagram profile, and um, pretty much the the goal is to help other people be, uh, develop themselves um, towards success and personal growth as a whole, like fitness being like one of the main pillars, you know. So that's kind of where Seramur Strong came from. I wanted to make a difference in people's lives and, um, you know, help them achieve their fitness goals. So I started a YouTube channel as well. And yeah, we're just seeing where it goes right now.
Yeah,
So
yeah, because it's really like, I mean, I think exercise is one of the best forms of like therapy. Like, if your body is right, then your mind, like, is, if um I heard on a Joe Rogan podcast once, he's like the thing about working out is like you can have all the pressure stacked against you and feel like you have all this weight on your shoulders and stress, and then you go to the gym and you put yourself through a hard workout, and all that stuff just like levels out in front of you, and it's like you can just like walk right over it. And that was like,
Right.
that.
Yeah, working out is. I started working out in like the winter of like 8th grade year for football. And that's when I started training with a couple buddies of mine who I also played football with. We were getting ready for high school football and everything, but yeah, lifting has been a huge part of my life as far as like obviously relieving stress and like staying healthy and creating the body that I want to live in,
Yeah.
Obviously staying healthy and being happy,
Right.
So.
Being able to like understand the positive impacts that like working out has had on you and trying to translate that to other people. I get it. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So you're developing like customized workout plans for people, right? And then you're doing the content kind of on the side as well on the YouTube.
Correct. Yeah. So I have a number of personalized programs that I have right now, like 4-day, 5-day programs, push pull day or splits, upper body, lower body conditioning, whatever the person is looking for or whatever their goals are. I have a program that I can create for them because I've done like bodybuilding programs, I've done powerlifting programs, I've done athletic like explosion work programs, so cutting, bulking, the whole 9 yards,
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah, the one you made for me, I've been on it. I'm on week 7 now. We're almost halfway through this. We're over halfway through this semester. It's crazy.
I know, time flies.
But my legs are still sore from my Sunday leg workout. Yeah, no, but so where do you want to take it? What's the overall? Is there an end goal? Or not?
I would just
I
say
don't like
that
the term end goal, but is there like I guess just where do you want to take it?
I would like to have, so right now I'm working on creating apparel and also putting like personal growth, like incorporating personal growth into like the clothing and the designs on the shirts. So you guys will have to stay tuned for that. But also like whether that's like quotes or like
Right.
just like making the apparel make you feel confident in your body and everything else,
Mm-hmm.
and being quality lifting apparel. I also want to create a website so that doing the programs is much easier and more effective as well as meal plans. So that's kind of where I'm going right now, as well as continuing YouTube content. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if you could, like on the website, just have like a ton of like results, like just have literally like a tab like before and afters, and just have a bunch of people that you have before and afters for, and then you say like I'll create a workout plan and a meal plan for you, and this is what you're gonna look like. You know what I mean? Like that would be cool. But then it's just a matter of finding like marketing that, I guess.
Yeah, and definitely with Instagram, and I just created a TikTok channel. So I'm just starting TikTok. So the whole social media route is crazy. The fact that we can market ourselves the way that we can nowadays is limitless,
I know. I know, and we got to take advantage of it because there's so many negatives personally of social media, or potential negatives, like as a distraction. But
Right.
like walking around and seeing the amount of people that are on their phone, like you can either look at that as negative or you can look at it as an opportunity, or both. But you know what I mean? Like you can look at it
Right.
like they're looking like that person's looking at their phone. I want my content to appear on their phone, you know, and if people
Mhm.
are spending that much amount of time on TikTok, it's like you got to get on there. Like I was off TikTok I just got on TikTok like a month ago, but I was off it for I never downloaded it because I was just like I just thought it was all a bunch of like girls like like little kids like dancing and stuff, and I don't want nothing to do with it. um, but I've gotten on it, and it's like I don't look at any of them. I don't watch any of the other TikToks. Like
You just post.
I just post. I just create. Yeah.
Yeah. I've also the documentary Social Dilemma. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had to watch that for a class back this previous fall. For an English class.
Oh, for
Huh? Yeah.
Okay.
But just like the social effects that social media has, like it's just crazy. Like the addiction that it creates, the dopamine spikes that it creates in your brain, it's insane.
I know.
You know?
And you can feel it too, like every day. Like it's like I just feel so
Yeah.
much better when I go off of it and just like don't have it because it's like even just having like Snapchat available, like, and the more you go on it, like the worse it is. Like the more of a pull it is because it's like when you sit down and you take a shit, you're gonna probably go on like Instagram or like Snapchat or something. You know what I mean? It's like
No, yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's like you're just like say you just go on Snapchat and you have streaks with your friends, and then you're bored or you're not doing anything, then your mind just wanders to, oh, I wondered if they Snapchatted back, or your mind just always goes back to that dopamine hit. It wants that, it's that addiction.
yeah.
Just like Instagram likes, YouTube likes, comments, the whole, every time you get a text message on your phone, it's like, it's like, what's that,
Yeah.
But it's crazy. I feel like how old were you when you got your first phone? Because you're younger than I am.
6th grade.
Okay, I was also in 6th
13,
grade.
whatever, 12 or 13.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like because when I was in 8th grade, I remember being on the bus once going home from school, or 7th grade or 8th grade, and there was like this like first grader who had a phone, and I was like, that's crazy, It was like a new like iPhone to it. It was like it just blew my mind that kids that young would have phones, and that and then you compound that with the negative effects that it has, and first graders have smartphones, and it's
Yeah.
and you think it affects adults negatively and it makes them addicted. Well, when you start that young,
Where are they going to be at 10 years from now?
exactly.
Kids aren't going outside and playing football and shit outside no more. They're looking at their tablet and doing some random Minecraft shit. Like, who knows?
Yeah. I feel like we kind of grew up like on that edge,
Definitely.
where like we still had like that that social interaction without technology so much.
Yeah.
Growing up, at least until we were in middle school, and still that's looking back, I feel like that's like really young, to even give a kid like a smartphone, but yeah, it's just crazy.
And I feel like personally, I've always been kind of like old school. Like I've always been like adverse to like Snapchat. Like when my sister would have Snapchat, like before, way before I did. Like I didn't get I got Snapchat like 8th grade, but
Okay.
I didn't use it much. But like just when my sister would be like taking pictures, I'm like, get that camera out of my face. I'm like, this is like weird. Like and some so I see like kids especially before they get exposed to like technology as like the purest human beings on the planet. You know what I mean? Because like they're like I love to watch like just kids' reactions to things that because like that their reactions are like usually like true. Like they're usually like right. You know what I mean? And when
Yeah.
a kid is naturally just like why are you taking a picture of me? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
now it's so common. Now or I would just cringe when I would see her like taking a picture of herself in the car or something. And now it's so common. Like now I do it. Now we all do it. But it's
Right.
like it's so when you just look at it objectively, it is so weird.
Yeah, and definitely it's like all society now is conforming to it. So it's like if you don't have it, you're out of the loop, you know.
Yeah. Or you're in the loop. Or you're I want to think that well, think about the things um that you notice when you're off of it. And you know, like just looking up around you, like just like looking at people, just like people watching,
Oh, I see your what perspective you're coming from. Okay,
like
you're more in tune with your legit reality. You know, not your make believe reality. How many likes you get, how many followers you have, who unfollowed you, blah blah blah. You know.
yeah, and people's like perceptions of other people, especially I feel like, I mean, you know, especially at like a university when this doesn't happen much. These long conversations don't happen much. And it's usually shorter in passing conversations. Maybe the longest conversation will be like at dinner or lunch or something. But other than that, I mean, there's not a ton. So it's
Right.
like people's perception, like people rely on social media to like form their perception of other people,
Right.
which is
Yeah, what people post on Instagram isn't how they actually live their lives. You know.
right. And I don't like it when I'm with people that are just like on their phone like the whole time. Like
No, yeah, I definitely. It's like it is disrespectful, and I feel like coming, at least where I'm from, doing that is not okay. You know, it's like put your phone away, have a social interaction, um, and that could be an age thing. It might not even be just where I'm from, where we're from, but
yeah,
yeah.
I think both because like when you said that I thought of my grandpa, and if he's watching this right now he's gonna be like because it's like whenever someone would bring out a phone at like when we'd be out to dinner or something, someone would bring
Yeah,
a phone, it would be like that's not happening.
game on.
Yeah, it's like oh, what the what's going on, you know what I mean? But it's like
Yeah,
but it's I like that. Like I don't like again like I'm old school, but at the same time, I feel like social media and technology and phones is like one of the greatest opportunities that we have, but also one of the greatest risks that we all have. Like if you choose to like I find myself just going on social media just out of habit. Like again, like if I take a shit or something, but like it's like every time I take a shit now, and I keep going back to that example, but anytime I have time just in passing, like my natural reaction is to like go on social media, and that's not the way it always is. But when I don't do that and I just allow myself to think, like maybe just in between classes or something, it's okay just to like, or after a conversation, maybe instead of just going into your phone and looking at something that isn't even relevant to your life right now, maybe just absorb what you actually just experienced like in real life.
Yeah, I definitely think people would be a lot happier without social media. Um, like me personally, like on your iPhone now, you can like remove apps like off like your like your home screen, you know, and then it's like if you go all the way to the right, it's in like the what would you call it?
Over there, yeah, whatever. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, so I just removed it so that I have to go all the way over and make it harder for myself to even just, it's more of a hassle to, you know, have to scroll all the way over and then click on Instagram or Snapchat or TikTok, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But
in terms of the opportunity at the same time, it's like,
yeah, it's almost like yeah, if you're not doing it as far as marketing your business, or you're not trying to grow your following, if your goals are to grow a following, say for Catch Up Please or for Seramur Strong, you know, it's yeah, it's an opportunity, but yeah, it definitely has its negative effects on people. But I guess we just need to educate people more, you know. Just like the social dilemma with the whole documentary, I think just people need to be aware of the negative effects, and first graders shouldn't have a smartphone, even sixth graders, you know. So I think definitely more education about social media and the negative impacts that it has would definitely benefit society. And
we have to look at it. We have to look at it as a tool.
exactly.
It as a tool for building our personal brands. Like this podcast, for example, would not be existent without Spotify and YouTube and Instagram. Like it wouldn't be anything. But and the ability to just market like a product, like you said, like you got to look at it as a tool. And even personally, like I'll still post some stuff on my personal just because I like but I don't give a fuck about what people are saying about it. Like I just want to post it because that's what I want to post. Like it's like,
Right.
But yeah, it's like you can either be a producer, you can be both, but I feel like
Producer, consumer.
social media, right?
Yeah.
And if you're strictly a consumer, I feel like that's when you can get into the most trouble, like mentally, like personally.
Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely see how that could definitely, especially if you're just a consumer and you you become addicted to it, you know, and that's what you're always on it. You spend hours on end on your phone. You know, you can go on your phone, you can see your usage time in these apps, you know.
Yeah.
Some people's is like absurd. I think they have like averages somewhere, like national averages for usages on Instagram, Snapchat, or just on your phone in general, you know.
You know, another thing that's weird is like all the people that use social media a lot hang out with all the people that use social media a lot. Because it's like people who spend time on Snapchat see someone else's Snapchat story, like they're more likely to like hit them up, right? Like you're not just gonna.
Oh yeah, for sure, to make that social connection.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because
Yeah.
like there's so like we're having this conversation, but like there's so many kids, like I mean, I don't know about so many, but there's a decent amount of kids like on this campus that we've never even heard of because like for the U Miami, like the welcome week or whatever. There's an Instagram account with like all the people like in our in like 2024 class or whatever, and like I just went through and followed like everyone. So like a lot, like I'll see some people and maybe I follow them on Instagram, but I've never actually talked to them. So I'm at least familiar with who they are. A lot of people, but
it is weird. That is a weird like social thing that we do. We like follow all these people to try to make these social connections. And I did the same thing with like the Facebook group
right.
chats or whatever when I was transferring here, because you wanna meet people. You don't just want to come here and then be a lost soul per se. You just come here and then you're like, oh, who do I talk to now? You know, you don't want to be left out or excluded, or you want to fit in. So it's almost like, yeah, that conformity to society and those social networks that you might be missing out on if you don't use it as a tool. So it is definitely interesting to look back and just go through your Instagram followers or the people who you follow, and then actually like look at who you actually know and who you've actually had a conversation with. You know, that is very interesting.
I did that a couple months ago, and I just unfollowed anyone that I didn't know. Like if I just, because I had followed all these random people. Like if and I've had some of, like I went through and if I just like recognize their name from a class or something, like I wouldn't unfollow. But if I had no idea who they were, it's like, why would I be following you? Like it's like I don't want my feed. Like I'll scroll through my feed a little bit, but now it's not necessarily just like random. Like I used to follow like World Star, and it would be like 90% World Star. But now, like, you know, you can use social media to your advantage if you follow the right kinds of accounts. Like if you follow, like I follow a bunch of like personal development accounts and just like, you know, those like mentality, like that, like those kind
like
of
wealth, all those. Yep.
Yeah.
I also follow those. You can be a consumer, but you can also choose what you want to consume. Do you want to consume all these fake expectations, or these fake realities that people post on Instagram, whatever it is, you know, or you can consume that and you can be unhappy and you can try to live a life that isn't realistic or isn't attainable.
Right.
Or you can try to personally develop yourself, whether that's following those other like those other accounts like you had mentioned, or educating yourself in other avenues, like reading books. I just started reading books. I used to hate reading books.
Yeah.
I read 10 pages every night now.
God,
every night.
I wanted to talk to you. Books get me fucking excited, dude. I don't know, something about them. It's like the what is that, like an oxymoron of the social? It's like the opposite of like social media. It's like that should get me excited because it's like it's all, instead of like, you know, scrolling and maybe seeing like a sentence that you like, it's like you got a lot of sentences.
There's yeah, right. There's endless amounts of information and knowledge that you can attain from books. It's crazy.
I know.
Especially like for personal development and everything like that. Like a couple of books that I've read, like Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins, and right now I'm reading Awaken the Giant from Within by Tony Robbins. 12 Pillars of Success by Jim Rohn. Just some of those books. I first read 12 Pillars of Success at Oshkosh, and that's what really sparked why I wanted to transfer schools to the University of Miami. I wanted, that book really made me take a step back and look at what I really wanted. And
in what way?
I felt like I had settled in a way almost, because I wasn't I was accepted to Oshkosh, like the majority of people who apply.
To play football.
Yeah, and also to play football, but I felt like I was settling. I felt like I was taking the easy route. I didn't want to play D3 football. I wanted to play D1.
You felt like you were wasting your potential.
Right. For me, I felt like if I wasn't going to go D1, then why, if I'm not going to be happy, you know, like if I'm not going to play at the competition level that I want to play at, or I don't know, just me personally, like if I'm going to do something, I want to be like the best at it, you know. I don't want to settle. And also my major was electrical engineering technology at the University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh. They don't have electrical engineering, so it's a little bit different as far as like the jobs and whatnot. So that was also another consideration. But yeah, books, man. Books changed my life.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be sitting here on this podcast here today if I hadn't read that book. Like I'd still be at Oshkosh probably.
It's so crazy, dude. And it's like, if you hadn't read that book, I'm not saying you, but it's like if people don't like, what do they do in the time otherwise? Like,
right. Or what are they missing out on? You know.
right. Like I'm not learning anything by sending pictures back and forth all night. Like I'm not.
No.
There's nothing. It's. I would rather.
You're static. You're not growing.
No, exactly, and it's like. On one hand, it is a nice tool to stay connected with people back home and stuff, and
for sure,
but
yeah.
At the same time, it's like, I mean, I would rather just talk on the phone a couple times a week, like old people,
and have a meaningful conversation.
Exactly, rather than just like Snapchatting every single day and then maybe once in the day saying like "What's up?" Like I'm sorry, but I don't know. I just hate small talk.
I also feel like I'm like internally conflicted because it's like, you know, you want to market yourself and you want to use it as a tool as much as possible, but it's also, you know, it's like, what would life be like without it? You know, like, don't you feel like it'd be a little bit better? You know, almost in a way.
Well, that's why I'm trying to only use it as a tool. Like that's or if I do like actually snap people, I'm like intentional about it. Like I'm gonna take time and like make something like just like start a conversation or something. You know what I mean?
Like a text message or
Right. Like I do like I've been on and off like deleting Snapchat and then re-download, but I always re-download. Like I don't re-download it because I need to like Snapchat people. I re-download it because I want to share this podcast episodes on my Snapchat story so 600 people can see that. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not like
the pros and cons.
And it's not like it's as easy as just going on there and uploading the picture and like then I go over and I look at my Snapchats.
Yeah, right. It's easier said than done for sure to just use it as a tool and not be some sort of consumer of what else is going on in the world as far as your friends, your family, or associates, you know.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's just when it gets to be like excessive, like to the point where you're just doing it too much. And it's not doing you any good. And you could be doing
right.
Yeah, no, dude, you gotta read that Green Lights. I swear.
I did. I listened to it. I listened to the whole audiobook when I drove down here for second semester.
No way.
The whole book. 23 hours.
Well, what'd you think?
Green Lights. It's very good.
And that's a perfect.
I really like the book. It is great. Matthew McConaughey has a way with words. he's It's just crazy how like his story is just so. He's just going with the flow, you know. It's like he's just living life. And it's like he just doesn't second guess anything, you know. And I mean, I'm sure he does, but just the stories that were in the book, it was very good. I liked it a lot.
He has a way with words because like he'll just tell or he'll just describe something that would otherwise come up otherwise would just be like normal or just like
right. And then there's always a deeper meaning, and then there's the green light, the positive takeaway from the story, the
even just
the good to go, the success isn't a straight line, it's zigzag. So when he gets that, when he gets closer to the straight line, it's it's like the green light. He's on the path to success. He's on the path to where he wants to go. He's on the path to happiness. And I thought that was really dope. And that book actually kept me up. I don't know how many hours that book was, but it was like the majority of my drive. And so when I drove from Wisconsin to University of Miami, I left Friday night and I got here Saturday night. And it was a 23-hour drive total. It was like 22 and a half hours without stopping, but obviously you got to stop for gas and obviously the rest a little bit. So I stopped for gas like probably 6 times, something like that. And then I took like 2 20-minute naps. And that was it.
Yeah, that's something I want. But I was going to say that like that's like the perfect time to read the book too, because he was talking about how he like wrote or how he like recorded a lot of it in his
he narrated the whole thing, so it was like,
oh, he did?
It was like he was right there. Yeah, he narrated it too.
Oh my God.
So it was I also had a lot of caffeine. So that kept me up as well, but that book kept me. I remember driving through like Indiana. It's just pitch black dark, both sides of the road, and it's like there's just nothing. It's just farmland, and it's just boring for a couple hours, and you get tired.
See McConaughey right there talking about wrestling some African tribemen.
Yeah, exactly. It's like he would just go travel to like the Amazon just because he had like this dream, and it's like a wet dream. It's like what? It's like it's just crazy. Like I don't know. He's just high on life, man. It was just really cool to listen to him.
I got high on life just reading it.
Yeah, like I don't know. That book was just it was a really good book. I honestly want to like listen to it again.
I know. I have it in my room, and I'll just like I'm reading a book right now called The Hard Thing About Hard Things. It's about like this tech startup and billion business, but that's a good book too. But like sometimes I'll just pull out green lights. Just like I had my friend Chandler, one of the twins that was at my dad's house when you came over. I had him read the book, and like he loved it too. And it was like that's a kid. Like I don't know. It's almost like he's pretty, even though he took a different route than me and he's from Texas, but it's almost like it's kind of relatable, like some of the stuff. Small like working class, just like didn't come from anything crazy, and just like
working himself up to being one of the best actors in Hollywood ever. Insane.
Yeah.
It's amazing what you can do when you put your mind to things.
I know, and the books is something that's interesting because it kind of keeps you going. Like it keeps the mind stimulated. Yeah,
for sure. Like last night, I was like very tired. I was doing some chemistry homework, and I think this was 2 nights ago. Anyways, I was doing some chemistry homework late at night, and I was really tired, but I read like 5 pages of my book, and I just couldn't read anymore. I just couldn't focus. I couldn't focus on the page. And when I went to go to bed, I was like, something was just nagging at me, and I was like, I need to read. Like I didn't read my 10 pages. I need to finish. Like what if I don't finish? And it was because I developed that habit, the habit from reading 10 pages every night. I started over winter break, and I stuck to it. I read 10 pages every night, like no missed nights. Sometimes I would read even more because sometimes you just read and you just want to keep going.
Yeah.
And if you can like really picture it in your head, it's just, but like the other night, I only read 5 pages and I was like, oh man, yeah, but when you develop a habit that's like almost automatic, then it's like, you just,
Yeah.
you have to do it then.
Dude, when I green lights was like I had never read it. Like I used to read a lot when I was little. I would read for 30 minutes every night before bed, and then I wouldn't really, like, this was like elementary school, and I just stopped. And then I didn't really read a ton since then, here and there, but and I feel like mainly because school kind of put it in my head, gave me a negative connotation of like reading, because like being forced to read a certain amount of pages of a book that you don't like, and do like stop and jots the whole time. Oh my god, fuck that. But I read Green Light. I read Green Lights, and that was the first time that I've read a book that I just couldn't stop reading it. Like, and now like I feel like anytime I talk to somebody else who's read it, it's like it's like the Bible, dude. It's like the outlaw Bible. I bet Matthew McConaughey would be proud of that.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a book. It's like you got it. It's like we have a different connection because of reading that.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, no. Like, for example, I'm reading this book right now, and it's talking about how this guy has tons of shareholders under him. He's the CEO of this tech business. They just had gone public, and they're having all these issues with raising money. And now, literally, as I'm reading this, like Evan and I are having problems with production, and it's like it helps me to kind of respond to that in a much better manner, because it's like I'm literally simultaneously reading how this like big CEO responded to like a problem that's way bigger than ours. Like we don't have hundreds or thousands of employees that are like reliant on the decisions that we make, at least not yet. So it's like it kind of it helps to give me scale. It helps to give me an idea of just how small like this problem kind of is. But
right, and it helps you deal with it more and how to manage your emotions. That's like one of the hardest things you can do, is to like manage your emotions and not let your emotions control you and your actions, and like dealing with situations like that, especially like seeing or reading that CEO dealing with a problem on a way bigger scale puts things in perspective for sure. And you take a step back and you go, this really isn't that bad. And then you calm yourself down a little bit, and then you can really think through the problem and develop a solution.
And it's I had a conversation earlier today with a guy named Stefano, and I just met him over LinkedIn, but we were kind of having a slight debate over emotions in business and stuff. And I think it's not like you want to completely like not have emotions and being like an emotionless, cold like robot. Like,
right, you want to be compassionate too, for sure.
Right, but at the same time, like yesterday, getting an email from our co-packer that we were this close to getting production off the ground with him, saying that he can't run organic. Like a year ago, I would have been just up in our like just like emotionally just I don't even know, just distraught, like just but
No, for sure.
we're at the point now where like we've been doing this for 3 years, and it's like we're used to it. Like we almost expect the bad news at this point, and we're just not, and we don't worry about it because we know that we're going to figure it out. We know that we're going to figure out a solution. And yeah, and like not letting emotions get the best of you, like instead of instead of getting emotional about it, like just relax, understand that it's just catch up at the end of the day. Let's just solve the problem. Let's be practical about it here. We're just going to waste more time being all emotional about it. Let's be practical and figure out what the next step is, because there's always an alternative. There's always a solution. It's just, are you able to figure it out, or do you maybe need to consult someone to help you figure it out? Like there's always someone, there's always somehow, some way. Like the business, there's, unless like a business gets like audited and they're just like absolutely fucked over by the government, or like there something happens with their process or something, like there are very few times that businesses fail. It's always the people that give up. Like it's always like we're at a point, like we've had so many times where I feel like a lot of people would just be like, fuck this, I'm done. But since we, you just got to keep going. You just got to push through it. Like, it's as simple as that.
Yeah, definitely having that mindset to persevere. Perseverance is huge, especially for success. I think if you can't, like right now, I'm personally being told by people, coaches, that I might not get a tryout for a football team that I really want to be on because it's COVID-19 and it's out of my control. So it's like.
Have you talked to coaches at UM?
Yeah, and it's like you put in all this work and then you get told no, like you don't even get the opportunity, but you have to have that mindset where you will get the opportunity. It's coming soon, even though you're just not getting it right now, or persevering in business, whether that's like, say you're a restaurant, you're in the restaurant business or whatever, the hospitality business industry, and COVID-19 first hit, and then the state shuts you down, then it's like, oh, what do you do? Then carry out, then you mark yourself DoorDash, curbside pickup, all those kinds of things, So there's definitely things that you can do to survive, but there also is outside forces that you can't control, but you have to adapt and persevere.
Yeah, and it's about, it's like just always just controlling what you can control. Like, there's so much that's out of our control. The majority of things are out of our control. So that's a way to kind of keep stress down, and just like, you put in the effort, you put in the work toward whatever you want to accomplish every single day. You put in everything that you are able to do. That's all that you can do. That's like literally, that's everything.
Right.
So what, are they not having like open like walk-on tryouts potentially?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much what is going on because of COVID-19.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. You'll
But
get
I plan on reaching out.
Yeah.
And staying in touch and doing everything that I can to get the opportunity, Whether that's just like 10, 15 minutes, like watch me run this route, like whatever it is, like.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Exactly. 10, 15 minutes of your time.
Right.
I just need one opportunity. Just like with Eminem, one opportunity.
You're going to have one moment, but
yeah.
You kind of get to that point where like all the preparation that you've put in, like you're just not going to be worried, like you might have, like, obviously there's always like anxiety and stuff, but at the end of the day, especially when it comes to athletics, and I was talking to previous former Olympic swimmer Marcus Titus on the podcast, and he just affirmed kind of the idea of like, it's just muscle memory. Like it's you've done all the work. Now it's just execute. Like it's just the mind kind of goes.
Exactly.
I'm sure that when you're on the field,
it's habit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's habit. Just like the reading, just like swimming, just like running a certain route, a certain type of way, doing a certain release, a certain breakdown, catching the ball, tucking it, and watching it in.
Did you play at all last year?
Repetitions. No, I did not. I actually gray shirted, so that's like red shirting for D3. So
Okay.
I primarily just lifted with the team.
Okay. So, what is it like? I mean, but there's got to be some sort of fearless. Like, how would you describe your play style? Do you have like a certain place?
Physical.
So
Fast and physical.
yeah.
Yeah, like
of Julian Edelman-esque.
yes, yeah. Like I'll put people in the I played both ways in high school football.
What?
So, I played
D.
On defense. I played linebacker, safety, corner, defensive end. So I was pretty versatile that way. Offense, I was a quarterback, but then I switched to wide receiver, so that I could play both ways.
Yeah.
And special teams. So I didn't really come off the field that much. So, yeah. Yeah, I would say I definitely have my physical mentality from playing defense.
Yeah.
Tackling and laying the boom, but also scoring touchdowns it's fun. you know.
Yeah.
You get in the end zone, and I don't know, that's just the best feeling in the world.
Yeah.
Celebrating with your teammates after that.
What is you got to have some sort of fearlessness just in general to be able to play at it's one thing to play in high school, but it's another thing to play for the University of Miami or for even for Oshkosh, at the collegiate level.
Yeah.
You got to have some fearlessness because you don't know when a guy's going to come flying out of nowhere and fucking rock your shit.
Yeah. I don't my mom always told me hit or be hit, or you know what I'm saying? So it's what do you want to be? Do you want to be the hammer or the nail? So there's definitely you'll definitely get rocked. I'm not just gonna say you're gonna be the hammer every time. I've definitely had my fair share of times when I've been lit up blindside or straight up that somebody just got the best of me, on a play, and that's just what it is,
Yeah. Next play. Yeah.
Exactly. Next play, and next time I'm gonna get you. Next play, you better watch it, buddy. I'm coming. You got me this time, but
you feel like you got a chip on your shoulder down here?
Yes, no doubt. I've been underrated.
Not just football-wise.
Yeah. I wasn't even accepted by the University of Wisconsin or UW-Madison. So being a transfer, being from Wisconsin, being I feel underrated as an athlete, and I know that Wisconsin athletes in general, as far as football goes, from playing 7-on-7, I had a D1 coach, Shane Cummington, who played at the University of Indiana. We played teams like Boom, Midwest Boom, and they're teams out of Chicago, and I played Cam Newton's 7-on-7 team in Tennessee when I was a junior. But yeah, it's just down south football is the exposure for D1 programs versus northern states. They have year-round football.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and that's tough for my freshman year. I wanted to play baseball really bad collegiately, but I just I had shoulder issues, and then I just said I thought I'd be better, putting time into other stuff, which I'm happy I'd started catch up please with Evan and stuff. But
yeah,
I think down here it's from the day that I got down here, I felt like I had a ginormous chip on my shoulder. Like I just like not because like so many of the kids that go to kind of have such a strong like safety net. They come
Yeah,
from
for sure.
money and they have a safety net, and like I don't have like this is like it like there's a lot of money for like not many kids from my grade even went out of state. So
Yeah.
and so it's like I feel like I'm not only doing this for like myself, but I'm doing this for my parents. I'm doing this for my grandparents. I'm doing this for everyone at my like from our community. You know what I mean? Because not many kids
Yeah.
get this opportunity. So it's like if we're not
No.
making the most of it and we're partying it away, that is a shame.
Right. Yeah. That's how I feel as well. I definitely think that like keeping that chip on your shoulder is huge.
Yeah.
Always, I guess the reference would be like you don't want to be like the wolf at like the top of the mountain or whatever. Like you always want to be hungry. You always want to be. You don't want to become complacent. You know. So.
Yeah. You always want to it's like drawing a fine line between having the like predator. I have a cheetah as my here. Actually, I can show you I have a cheetah as my Zoom lock screen thing, but it's like um you because it's like the little guy, but also the fucking fast like predator like motherfucker that'll come out of nowhere and just like and do something, do something that no one's expecting. Like I don't know. I last semester was huge for me. Trent just transformationally from like my whole previous life. Like it was like I watched a video of like some of like three cheetahs taking down this like huge ostrich, and it was like, it was hilarious, but it was weird. It was like um, yeah, you want to kind of draw the line and be on that line between that predator and also the little guy that's always going to be humble and like learning from everyone, no matter if they're younger than you or older than you or done less or more than you. It doesn't matter. Um, so, what does success look like? What do you think success is? What do you think success means for you?
I think success is. I think everybody has their own personal definition of success. Um, for me, I would say it's ultimately always improving and always being better than I was the day before. Always pursuing happiness, always pursuing personal development, financial independence. Um, I don't think you can really pinpoint one thing and
Right.
just call that success. You know, success is a lot of different things and a lot of different um, factors, I guess. But yeah,
Yeah, I agree. Um, People just
how would
associate it with like, um, especially in today's day and age, with just like numbers and like material goods and you know like this people would consider this podcast or this YouTube channel not necessarily successful because it has 51 subscribers. But
right,
in my mind, it's like this is 26 people that were able to tell their story that's going to be on the internet forever. You know what I mean? And this
for
is going to
sure.
not only my like when we die, like this is like our this is what like this is gonna be eternal and anyone can go back and watch this. This is our literal like legacy. So it's
Yeah,
um yeah, success is just super subjective, and I feel like if you can kind of identify you as in like anyone, like if people can identify what their version of success is early on, like as a kid, like
right.
they're gonna lead a much more successful life. Like that could mean maybe and success changes over time, right? Like me 4 years ago is a completely different person than now. So it's like 4 years from now, my my goals and my idea of success is likely to be very different.
Yeah, for sure. And it'll be different in the next 4 years.
Definitely. Um, a couple more things that I want to touch on, and then um, call it a day. But what do you think of the idea of? So I had a like brain drain. So I had a guy on, Amos Valenti. He has a ketchup company out of Pittston, Pennsylvania, a super small town in Pennsylvania, and he gave me a different perspective because he talked about how, um, you know, the smartest kids or the smartest kids that come out of small towns often leave to go work in the city or to go to a bigger school. They just leave. And so he said that, him being one of the smarter kids, um, or at least one that wanted to create change,
Great.
he decided to stay home. And he's like, if nobody, if everyone's gonna leave, if all the smart people are gonna leave, then who's gonna be at home? Who's gonna be in that city or that town to make that place better? You know, and that's something that stuck with me because it's like I can relate to being to wanting to leaving, and to be going,
Yeah.
and personally, it's a weird trade-off because it's like you can personally gain more potentially from coming down here, and maybe you can give back more from coming down here or to going to a bigger city. But in my mind, I feel like I'm always gonna have to spend some time like at home.
Yeah. I would. I think that. Yeah. That's definitely a different perspective. That a lot of people don't consider. Um, I feel like yeah, giving back is huge. Like going back um, and making a place where you come from, especially better than it was before, is huge. Like the kids who are in your place. There's a Olympic wrestler. I didn't even know this until like middle school, high school. I had no idea. I come from a small town, and it's called small town in Neosho, Wisconsin, and it was less than 600 people growing up. But I went to grade school there from 4K through 8th grade, and there's also an Olympic wrestler by the name of Dennis Hall, who was a silver medalist in the Olympics. Um, State champion wrestler at Hartford Union High School, um, and then went on to become an Olympic wrestler. But I remember going. Our town has like a little museum right like on the pond. We have like a huge pond. It's more like a lake, but it's all muck. And I remember going through the museum and just seeing like from this small town in Neosho, Wisconsin, this small town surrounded by farm fields from, you know, in Timbuktu, an Olympic wrestler came out of this town. So it's like anything can happen. Anything that you dream or you aspire to achieve, you can do it. Like doesn't matter where you're from. Like you can either look at the glass half full or half empty. And I think definitely like giving back to like once you say make it out of a town like that, um or you like become successful by going out of state to a different school, getting a better job, maybe you're a successful entrepreneur, then you come back and you give back, you educate kids more, you know. like about the other opportunities other than just what's in that town, or even bringing opportunities to that town for kids, or young adults, whatever it is.
I feel like a lot of the role models or like the people, like it's always athletes, like it's always.
Yeah, it's definitely more publicized, like when it's athletes.
Which makes sense.
Feel like,
I mean, it's like
yeah,
the most famous person that I knew of was Joe Randa, who went to my high school, and he played baseball for like the Royals for a while. He was pretty good, but that was like that's like the one guy. You know what I mean? Like, and obviously there's so many other alumni, but like you don't really hear about other alumni who went off and started businesses, or like it's just not publicized.
Yeah.
Like we have our wall of fame with like a bunch of like people, like a bunch of faces and plaques of people and what they do, but like nobody looks at that.
Yeah, or they don't remember half of them,
Yeah. It's like if you're not an athlete, if you're not going to the pros or something, it's like you gotta do a hell of a lot if you want to be like remembered in your like hometown. But you can be remembered in your hometown just by, like you said, giving back. Like it's like just like going back and doing a talk. Like we had a few guest speakers, but I couldn't relate to them. Like it wasn't like I just want to go back and just be able to like just speak completely honestly about my experiences in high school and how I was so fed up with being in high. I want to just be like super honest and just say like, obviously, once I actually have something under my belt that I've actually accomplished, like I'm not going to go around saying that I've done anything because I haven't. But it's like, down going back and like saying that there's a whole nother world out there that that it's easy to forget about, and when you're trapped in this school.
Great. For hours on end, for 5 days a week.
Yeah, it's messed up. It's jail.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you wanted to touch on today?
No, I think we hit most of the topics we want to talk about. Thank you for having me on the podcast. I really appreciate it.
I think it's a good conversation. Yeah. What is when you die, what do you want to be remembered for?
Wow, that's a deep one. I want to be remembered for the type of person I was, of high moral character. Someone who was loving, caring, put everything into what they did, and did their best.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
I'll see you soon at breakfast or something.
All right, sounds good, bro.
All right, I'll send you the link too once this is up. I'll talk to you later.
All right, awesome.